And here we are with video number 2. So for the next question, again, what I want to know is, can you program it into your Desmos appropriately and then pick the picture that matches? 4x, right? Minus 3y. Now check out this symbol. This is just greater than, right? So just regular greater than, -1. What is important about this picture? Well, number one, I want you to see that the line is dotted. So it's a dotted line, so make sure you're picking an image that has a dotted line, and then you're going to shade below it. So if I'm looking at this, right, and I could tap on the line to find out that my intercept is 0.333. I want to make sure my line is dotted, and I want to make sure that I've shaded below it. Number 10 works the same way. I'm checking to see, number 1, that you can program in 2 equations at the same time, and number 2, that you can pick the right graph based on its visual characteristics. So we're going to clear this out again. X plus y greater than 4. First thing I'm noticing is I'm shaded up and it's a dotted line. And then I need to be able to input the second inequality, y less than or equal to 7x plus 2. So here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a line that's dotted that I shade up. I'm looking for a line that's solid that I shade down. My point of intersection would be right here, which is at 0.253, 0.75. So if you have 2 graphs that look pretty close, you want to check those points of intersection. So I'm going to rough sketch this for myself so that I know what I should look for on the multiple choice. So I've got this one, and I shade up. And then I've got, because we can change colors, I've got this one, and I'm going to shade down. So the solution area is here. It might be easier to find the solution area when you draw these by hand and then look for them than just looking from Desmos over to the answers. Alrighty. Now we got to go back to doing brain work. So we did a little calculator work. Now you're going to do some brain work. You have these questions. This is what we were doing at the end of the week last week. You need to be able to write the inequality. So let's change this word. It should not be equation. It should be inequality. So you need to write the inequality first and then graph it. That was the cat. So you have $25. All right, so that's the most that you have. That's it. So if that's the most, that's the biggest amount? Is it going to be, you're going to use a greater than sign, or are you going to use a less than sign? And you should say greater than, because this is the most you can have. You want tacos and fries. And who doesn't? I mean, come on. So tacos are $2.50. And that's for a taco. And that, of course, means plus. Each fry is $1.75. So what this equation says is, I can buy some combination of tacos and fries up to $25. So I could sit there and go, okay, well, how many times does, 25 go in, 250 go into 25, 175 goes into 25? But that only tells me the max number of tacos and the maximum number of fries. It doesn't tell me all of the variables in between. So like 2 fries and how many tacos. And these are things like, say you want to grow up and be in the movie business, and maybe you're working craft services. These are the kind of questions you would need to be able to solve. And I'm not saying you're going to work craft services. I'm saying it's an option. Now I want you to graph it. And so you do 25 greater than or equal to 2.5x. We're not going to use t's and f's. We're just going to use x's and y's. Plus 1.75y. All right, so let's look at the important parts here. The maximum, so the maximum going up is 14.286. The maximum going to the right is 10. So here's what this tells me. I can have a maximum of 10 fries, oh, sorry, not fries, tacos. 10 tacos and no fries, or a maximum of 14 fries and no tacos. But then I can have any number inside the first quadrant. So I could have 2 tacos. So if I went over, well, let me do it this way. I could have 2 tacos, right? And 5 fries. Because check it out, 2, 5 is inside my solution area. I could also have 5 tacos and 5 fries. See, it's still in my solution area. So as long as I'm within my solution area, these are all the combinations of ways I can spend my allowance. I'm hoping this is not all on one day. I'm hoping this is like over the course of a week, because man, talk about carb loading. You just, maybe that's why we fall asleep after lunch. Yeah, probably. Okay, so now, again, make sure you have really good notes on that. Make sure you can write the equation and then also pick the appropriate graph. And so our graph looked something like this. We cannot go into the other 3 quadrants because you can't have negative fries and you can't have negative tacos, because that's gross. So since you can't have negative fries or negative tacos, we can't go into the second, third, or fourth quadrant with our solution here. All right, let's look at number 12, and that's it. Oop, nope, there's something about number 15. I'll have to think about that. You're making a garden, okay? The length should be at least 60 feet. The perimeter can be no more than 200 feet. All right, so let's find the things we're talking about, shall we? The first thing we're talking about is length. The second thing we're talking about is perimeter. Okie dokie. So the length has to be at least 60 feet. So the length at least. So that means that's the smallest it can be. Oops, my bad. 60 is the smallest it can be. The 60 is getting the pointy end, because the length needs to be bigger or greater than 60. Then we have the perimeter. Okay, so perimeter. Perimeter is not one of our variables. We're just going to put perimeter down there. Can be no more than 200 feet. So 200 is the most it can possibly be. So that's also going to be a greater than or equal to. Here's the thing though. We have, for perimeter, I guess we should probably draw something, huh? We have length, right? And we also have width. How many lengths do we have? We have 2. How many widths do we have? We have 2. So we have 2 lengths and 2 widths, and that makes up the perimeter of our rectangle. So the length has to be greater than 60, and the total perimeter has to be less than 200. I had to write the equations first because I had to conceptualize what my problem says. Once I've written the algebra, now I can go to Desmos and have Desmos help me graph it. Do you notice how the emphasis of this unit is not on graphing? It's on understanding what the graphs should look like. It's on understanding how to solve systems. That's what we're talking about, okay? So the graphing is nice, but it's not the most important thing. I have L's and W's. So I'm going to make my L's X's. X greater than or equal to 60. Where the heck did it go? I don't know. We will have to zoom back and we'll have to find it in a minute. Let's do the other one. 200 greater than or equal to 2, now L comes before W in the alphabet, so X, right, plus 2Y. All right, so here's the challenge. My numbers are big and I cannot see them on my Desmos right now. So I'm going to put my fingers, I'm going to put one of my fingers here and one of them here and pinch them together. It's going to scale down the whole graph. Oh, I see something. I see something. Let's drag the graph. And now I can see my solution. All right, so what am I looking at? I'm looking at, I've got 100. I've got 100. I've got a cat fight going on in the front room. That's kind of exciting. I wonder what this number is right here. Oh, if that's 50, this is 60. Cool. So this is my length. Neat. And this is my width. I have 3 points that are my vertices of my solution. Remember, I can't go into negative areas. I have to stay positive. Hang on a sec. The cat fight has been averted. So here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to find the appropriate graph. So we need this at 60, right? And then we need 100, and we need 100. And all of these are solid lines. And here's my intersection. Where is this point? This is at 60, 40. So that means my length would be 60 and my width would be 40. Okay, so now that's the minimum. That is the bare minimum of what I expect you to be able to do on this test on Wednesday. Where are you going to be able to get some extra points? Where are you going to be able to show that you know not only the basic of what we did, but a little bit more? The first place is number 15. Number 15 on the test is something I've never done with you and you've never seen, so it's an extension question. So just know going in that you're going to have a question in 15 that I have never gone over with you explicitly, and you're going to have to muscle through it on your own. Here's another thing. When you pick your answer, there's bonus points for maximize answers. So which one of these 3 points, 60, 0, 60, 40, or 100, 0, maximizes my perimeter? You're going to have to maybe figure that out. So that's some extra points you can get. If you have questions, make sure that you've gone through and watched the video twice, and then email me any questions or ask Miss Hughes. We got your back. And then you're going to be ready, if you have good notes from this, you're going to be ready to just crush the test. I'll see you Wednesday. We will test Wednesday, and then it'll be the quick slide down into winter break.